All right. So what are our topics? First of all, we're going to define positivity. We're going to go into why is it difficult to be positive. Because does anyone think it's difficult to be positive sometimes? I'll admit, I do too. I struggle with it. Yeah, absolutely. Be optimistic. I'm going to give you guys a lot of reasons to be optimistic. I mean a lot. Smile all of the time. My favorite part of the whole presentation. Smile. Be good to yourself and better to others. When you're good to someone, they're going to pay that back in kind, if not to you, to someone else, a lot of times. In ways that you may not even know. A good deed you did for somebody can cause them to do something good for someone else. It's like a chain that takes off. Take good care of yourself. And that's just basics, guys. Eat right, get plenty of sleep, try and get a little bit of exercise. And when I say exercise, I'm not saying you're running marathons, and I'm not saying you're doing bodybuilding, and I'm not saying you're going to CrossFit 18 times a day and putting it on Facebook. All I'm saying is go for a walk for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Little stuff that you can change. Develop a PMA. What's a PMA? Positive mental attitude. Every situation you go into, never ever think this: what is going to go wrong today? Does anyone do that? What is going to go wrong today? Think, what is going to go right? And think back to all the things that have gone right. Because let me tell you something, negativity is overpowering. It is much more powerful than positivity. That's what we have to overcome. That's scientifically proven as well. We're going to talk about that here a little bit. And how to deal with negative people. Now, isn't this a good section? We got the holidays coming up. Your families are all coming, aren't they? Oh boy, isn't that fun? My mother-in-law just moved in with me. 3 months. I'm going to have to practice what I preach for the next 3 months. This is going to be a test of my positivity. So, let's go and get started with our first slide. Definition of positivity. It's the mindset that helps produce emotions such as joy, amusement, happiness, serenity, gratitude, and inspiration. I think that's a pretty all-encompassing definition, wouldn't you guys say? So if that's what makes up positivity, what are some things that make up negativity? What are some emotions? Anyone? Throw them out there.
Anger.
Yes, that's a big one. Anger.
Stress.
Stress, yeah, that can. Another one? How about fear? Fear, it's a big one. Sadness. What's the biggest one? Starts with an H. Hate. Hate is the most negative emotion. And it's the one you have to be the most careful about. Because if you can be made to hate someone or something, you can be made to behave in ways that are outlandishly bad. And when I say out, I mean really harmfully bad, as in harm yourself or harm others. That is the antithesis of being positive. Hate. I'm going to talk about that. So, why is it so hard to be positive right now? Well, wouldn't you guys agree? We live in some of the most troubled times in the history of our planet. Rates of crime, war, poverty are all on the rise, and it's only getting worse. Wouldn't you guys agree with that? I mean, you guys agree that's a sad truth? Yeah? Not one thing that was on that slide I just showed you is true. Not one thing. And I know what you're saying. Chandler, you liar? Don't you watch the news? Yeah, I do watch the news. And boy, that's why you all think that way too. What does the news report on? Why?
That's what you watch.
Yeah. Exactly. Let me tell you about 2 movies. One movie, boy grows up, upper middle class household, no strife, parents get along great, they save up for his college, send him to college, he gets straight A's, becomes a doctor, the end. Anybody want to watch that movie? Doesn't that sound like a fun movie? Let me tell you another movie. Kid's born in a crack house. In the hood. Handles his first gun when he's 5 years old. Joins a gang. Are we getting somewhere now? We are wired for that kind of stuff. And guess what? The news networks know that. So what do you think they find? Are they going to find the uplifting stuff to report on? No, absolutely not. Are they going to skew the facts? In the worst way possible. What if I told you a plague is going to come through the next year, it's going to kill 20,000 people? A plague. You guys are going to go, oh my gosh, a plague, what is it? What if I said, it's the flu? Oh, boring. Who cares, right? It's because it's mundane. We're used to that kind of stuff. It's not that the world has gotten worse, guys. What's gotten better? Much better. Our access to information. You can get stuff that happened around the world anywhere within 10 seconds of it happening, 30 seconds at the most. 200 years ago, if I wanted to get information to somebody, what do I have to do? I had to write a letter and hope to God it made it by horseback. Because it might not. Imagine how wars were fought back then. The logistics, how would you do that? Unbelievable. It's just our access to information has gotten better. They know that that kind of stuff sells. They look for it. And if you look hard enough, you'll find it. Let me give you guys some statistics to prove it to you. This is the decline of crime, total violent crime, since 1993. Look at that. Down 72% for total violent victimization. Serious violent victimization is down 75%. Made a little jump there in 2011, but I looked at the most recent statistics and it's on its way down again. And let me tell you something. If I went back 50 years, you think it was bad in 93? Nothing. If I go back 100 years, much worse. The good old days, they weren't so good so much. And guys, I'm not getting these statistics from Facebook. This is from the Department of Justice. Here's another one. How about war? You think, man, the entire world's at war, isn't it? Worldwide battle deaths since 1940 in millions. 1940 to 1950, 20 million. What's that? What event? 1940s. World War II. 1960 to 1970. What's that? Uh-huh. How about, this is a tougher one, how about in the 80s? No, Desert Storm was 90.
Was it the Korean War?
No, that was back there. This is worldwide. South America. There's a lot of problems in South America back then. Civil wars and stuff like that. But look at 2000, guys. And it's lower now. You can't even see it. But boy, the news, man, they love to show pictures of people getting shot up and wars and everything. You think that's something? Can you imagine if we'd had the internet in World War II? How about negative? Holy cow. This is nothing compared to what it has been. Here's the linchpin. Percent of Americans aged 25 or over who've completed 4 years of college. As you can see, we're on a steady upward trend. And guys, every positive societal health factor that exists, from women's rights to disease prevention to everything, correlates positively with this every time. If you see some of these extremist groups in the Middle East, for instance, and they're trying to really take over something, what's the first thing they blow up? Somebody said it. Schools. Every time. Why is that? Boy, if you're ignorant and your populace is ignorant, aren't you easier to control? Wouldn't you be a lot easier to isolate? Put ideas in your head, swallow their extremist views, whatever they may be? Yeah, that's the first thing that they want to do. Be wary of anything or anybody that's trying to cut off your access to information. Because almost every time, that's nefarious, every time. Another one, world poverty rate from 1970 down to 2005, we were from about 27% all the way down to 5%, and it's actually lower than that. Here's another one. This is an interesting one. Infant mortality rate in 1900 per 1,000 births. 10% of babies died in childbirth in 1915. Think about that. Has anyone here been to an old cemetery? And you look at the graves? It's sad, isn't it? There's a lot of babies in there. A lot. And a lot of times, day-old baby, Mom's right next to him. Really, really sad. It's down to around 6% here, but we're actually, I think we rank like in the 40s as far as infant mortality rate. The highest is Japan, 2.7 per 1,000. I don't know what they're doing different, but it's something a little better than whatever we're doing. Negative news has a more forceful impact on your brain than positive news. By a factor of 5 to 1, scientific study on it. You need to hear 5 positive things for every negative thing you hear to counteract it. That's just scientifically proven. We're wired for it. And unfortunately, it's probably, at one point, it was a survival thing. Whenever you become negative, there's a part of your brain, and it's actually one of the oldest parts of your brain, called the amygdala. Anyone remember the amygdala from anatomy? Remember what it was for? One of the things, for several things. Fear and being alert. Once that part of your brain is activated, you get like on high alert, like there's a predator around. And it'll stay that way for up to 15 to 20 minutes. Well, how many predators have you guys seen lately? How many, like saber-toothed tigers or anything? Anyone see one of those on the way to work? No? What alerts it now? News. Bad news, good news. How about those other guys that are trying to get us? Or this group's trying to get me? Or these people are trying to take this from me? What does that do to your amygdala? High alert. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It takes 5 positive things. Positivity and those types of emotions are in your frontal lobe to overcome what your amygdala is doing. And like I said, with news, if it bleeds, it leads. That's why. If I can cause you to be afraid of something or some group, and you don't know any better, I can make you hate. If I can make you hate, I can control you every time. I can direct you to do things that are way outside of your self-interest. And it doesn't matter the ideology. It could be religious, it could be political, whatever it is. I can make you do awful, awful things. So what I'm saying is be optimistic. You live in the safest, cleanest, least violent time that has ever existed on this planet, and things are only getting better. And a lot of that has to do with education and the internet. People living in rural villages in Africa can now get on YouTube. You ever thought about YouTube as something other than for cat videos? You can find anything on YouTube. You ever been to the Khan Academy? There's kids in Africa teaching themselves physics from the Khan Academy. Think what a great good that is. And you just thought it was for cat videos, didn't you? Yeah, it's incredible. Our access to information, as it goes up, everything will get better. With hitches. I'm not saying everything's perfect, that's for sure. Life expectancy has risen more in the past 50 years than the previous 1,000. Anyone know what the average lifespan was in 1900?
47.
Close, 47. Very good. Got a statistics lady? Let's go back farther. How about ancient Egypt? 27. How about hunter-gatherer? Anyone? 18. Anyone here over the age of 18? We'd all be dead statistically. Yeah, things have gotten much better. I'll give you an example of that. My great-great-grandfather had a heart attack in the 1930s. My grandpa used to tell me this story all the time. You know what the treatment was for a heart attack, or what they had him do? Anyone? Bed rest. That's it. Bed rest. He just laid in bed till he died. There was no heart surgery. There was no drugs. There was no stents. There was no nothing. Think about this. My wife used to work in heart surgery. That's why I find it fascinating. They stop your heart and hook you to a machine that keeps you alive. The machine circulates your blood, oxygenated. That's amazing. And then they perform surgery on your heart and sew you back up, and you get up and walk around a couple months later. That's unreal. It's a miracle when you think about it. If you had told people back that in the 30s, they thought you were crazy. You can't cut people open. You kidding me? I don't want to kill him. He's already in bad enough shape. The likelihood of a violent death has never been lower. On average, we're better educated than ever. Poverty is at all-time lows, and childhood mortality has plummeted. So be optimistic, guys. If you see something on the news and they're spouting some kind of nonsense, look at the statistics. Remember I said about information? Who here has a smartphone? Raise your hand. Congratulations. You have access to more information than the President of the United States had 25 years ago. And it's continuously updated. All of it that you want. You can check anything that they say, basically. Right, and almost right away. Don't swallow it hook, line, and sinker, though. Be a little critical of everything. Only about, 3/4 believe everything everybody tells you before you check it. Oh, this is my favorite part of the whole presentation. Coming up, I get so excited. Smile! Everybody smile. Smile, everybody. You can smile, come on. There you go. See, perfect. Don't you feel better? Now you look, he feels better already, I can tell. Really though, that's another thing. If you're having a really bad day, things have gone awful, the alarm didn't go off, it's Monday morning, you're late for work, you jumped into relaxing rush hour traffic in Springfield, because boy, that's going to make you feel better. Somebody cut you off, gave you the one finger salute, honked at you, and you're really mad when you get to work. Find a mirror, put it in front of you, set a timer for 3 minutes, and make yourself smile. Make yourself do it. Now it's going to hurt almost. For about the first minute, it really sucks. But after that, I promise you, you will feel better. It will change your mood. They've done studies with telemarketers. Telemarketers now, this is not face-to-face, and the ones that smile while they talk sell much more than the ones that don't. Just by smiling, and it doesn't hurt you a bit. I'll give you an interesting story. I used to work at Dixie Stampede as a waiter. Anyone been to Dixie Stampede? God, I love that place. I had so much fun there. That's one of my favorite jobs. I'd probably almost still do it if I could. Made a lot of money, too. We made great money. No student loans working there. But I did it for a couple years, and I got to be a trainer after a while. So I would train people, and they after a couple months, they'd come to me a lot of times and say, Clinton, my row's clean, everything's set up right, my condiments are clean, the food comes out just right, and no one has empty drinks ever. So I'm just not making the money that I think I should be, we work for tips. And they said, well, would you watch me? I said, yeah, sure, I'll watch your show. This is what they would do. Let's assume you just came into my row and sat down. We're on the north side. Hi, how are you? I'm Chandler, I'll be your server. Hey, I'll buy some drinks here in just a second, okay? I'll be right with you. Are you from the north? Where are you from?
Yes, I would.
What state are you from?
I'm from California.
Northern California, woohoo! Welcome to my row. My name is Chandler. I'll be your server tonight. It's great to have you. I got some drinks coming by, tea and Pepsi. I'll be right with you. Oh, I have coffee too. I've already had some. What's the difference? Now, I'm a little over the top.
Really?
I'm a little exuberant. I really like that job. But even if they did this instead, welcome to the north side. My name is Chandler. I'll be your server tonight. It is so good to have you. I'll be right by with some drinks. I got tea, Pepsi, and coffee. I'll be right with you. Just that right there. Guys, I'm not kidding you. They'd make 25 to 30% more per show just by smiling. But you had to do it the whole time. You couldn't just do it then and then come back later with the food. Chicken, chicken, chicken. Chicken, hot chicken. I've been cooking all day for you. Hot chicken. But you just smile the whole time you do it. Always be smiling. Something interesting, though. Let's say for some reason I just had a horrible day. And sometimes you just have to fake it there. I could smile, and it felt like I was doing everything just the same as I would do normally. You don't make as much money for some reason. I don't know why. My guess is it has something to do with your body language. It just changes a little bit if you're having a really bad day or something. Energy, yeah, or something like that. But I thought that was really interesting. But just by smiling, guys, really, like I said, it doesn't hurt you a bit. It's super easy. Who here has ever smiled and said, gosh, my face, that hurt? Nobody, because it doesn't, and it doesn't cost you anything. I work in wellness, of course, and we're not the people that, people aren't happy to see us normally. It's kind of like going to the dentist. Especially, a lot of times the assessments are early in the morning. No coffee, no food, and what are we going to do? Poke you in the arm and weigh you. Boy, doesn't that sound like fun with no coffee and food? By God, you better be positive in my job. You'll get eaten alive. But all you have to do really, guys, is smile. And you'll be shocked just walking into a room and smile. It makes you a presence. People will be happy to see if you smile all the time. Really. Be good to yourself and better to others. Practice random acts of kindness. If you're having a really bad day, let's say it's like in that scenario before, someone cut you off and they gave you the, one finger salute. First of all, are you going to let that affect you? If you're in a really bad mood, are you going to give it back to them and honk? Who won? Who won then? They won. because they made you. You just justified their worldview. What's their worldview? World sucks. Now it sucks for you too. Ha! You know what I do? Smile and wave. You know what else I might do? I might stop and get donuts for the whole office on the way home or on the way in. You walk around and hand people donuts. You talk about positive. It's hard to be mad when someone hands you a donut. How many times have you gotten a donut or something and been like, oh, God, donut? You're going to be happy already. But do something positive to stop that negativity in its tracks and send out positivity instead. So be kind to others. Silent self-criticism. Anyone here like to beat themselves up at night, have trouble sleeping or anything because of what happened during the day? Anyone? No one does that? Yeah. Have you ever been happy that you did that? Have you ever woke up the next morning and say, boy, I'm sure glad I was up all night worrying and being hard on myself. Thank goodness. I feel so much better today. Don't do that, guys. It's not going to do you any good. Who here has ever invented a time machine? Raise your hand. No one? Well, then how are you going to fix what's in the past? Well, if you can't fix it, why are you worrying about it? What happens when you worry about something? You pay for it twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or 1,000 times. You just keep on paying for it. Let it go. Let it go. You can't do anything. Try and learn from it. Learn from it. A good thing to do is write it down. Write what went wrong. Ask yourself, can I control what went wrong? Can I do anything about it? Is it something that I reacted to? If it is, write down what you're going to do next time. If you can't do anything about it, you know, if the next presidential election, Justin Bieber wins, I can't do anything about that, right? There's no use in me worrying about it. I'll just have to vote for somebody else for the next round, right? So if you can't do anything about it, don't worry about it. If it's something that is your reaction or something you were involved with and you can, write down what you're going to do next time and look at that. Chance favors the prepared mind. Louis Pasteur. Next time that situation happens, look at that. That's what you're going to do. Positive self-image. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. We're getting low on time. All I'm saying, exercise and take care of yourself, because if you feel good about the way you look, you're going to feel good about yourself. If you feel good about yourself, you're going to feel better about the world. You're going to be more positive. And that's just as simple as 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week. When I say exercise, I'm not saying running 7-minute miles or anything. Just go for a walk. I could really go into this farther on, but I don't have time. Dang it. I lots of good stories for this one, but if you can't get the 30 minutes 5 days a week, try and get 15 minutes of more vigorous activity for 15 minutes 5 days a week. All right. Develop a PMA. Don't ever think what could go wrong, think what could go right. Anyone here like to fish? Anyone here a fisherman or a fisherwoman? No? No other crazy people in here? I love it. And I'm crazy. I'm a crazy bass fisherman. We're those idiots you see whenever, it's like snowing outside and we get out in our boat and the blowing wind. And if they're biting, I don't feel a thing. It's awesome. But that is one of the most difficult activities and hobbies or sports that you can do. You can go out one day, you can catch 50 in one day. You can go out the next day, same bait, same places, catch nothing. It's like they're not even there. So I can't imagine doing it for a living. The greatest tournament bass fisherman that ever lives named Kevin Van Dam, 7-time angler of the year, like $8 million in career winnings. You know what he's known for? He's the most positive person you've ever met in your life. And you better be if you're going to fish for a living, because they can make you look stupid, little green fish. He never gets on the water and says, well, I'm not going to catch him today. He's always going to catch him. I'll give you a story they tell about him. A few years ago, he was fishing a tournament. Now, they fish 3-day tournaments, 5 fish per day, total weight at the end wins. Third day, he's fishing, $125,000 on the line. He's in second place, 2 pounds down. Fishing along, throwing a crankbait. Hooks one, he goes, oh my gosh, that's a big fish. Oh, that's a 5-pounder, that's a winning fish. He gets it up and looks at it. He gets about from here to that table and he goes, that's a 5-pounder, that's a winning fish. It gets off. What do you think he did? Cast right, like it didn't even happen. Right back in the water. 5 casts later, about almost the exact same place, he hooks another one. He goes, oh, that's another good one. If that's a bass, it is a bass. That's a 4-pounder, that's a winning fish too. He gets all the way up to the edge of the boat, reaches down, gets his fingers on his lip, and it shakes off too. $125,000 fish. Do you know what most guys would have done? They'd take their rod, broke it over their knee, pushed the cameraman in the water, and set the boat on fire. That's $125,000 gone. You know what he did? He turned and looked at the cameraman and goes, that don't happen too often, does it? He won. He won. About 15 casts later, he caught another one that weighed about 4.5 pounds. He won. Who beats you usually? A lot of times. Yourself. And if you're negative going into something, you're already beat. If you're negative about your day, and that can be for a contest, for work, for whatever you're doing, if you're negative going into something, I guarantee you, you're already beat. And whatever you're doing, guess what? I know it's going to be negative. What are you going to do? You're going to make it negative. Right? Self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't have to do that. Always think positive things. Instead of thinking what I've done wrong in the past, think what the good things that I've done. Never beat yourself up. Think of positive things constantly. And boy, it's not easy to do, is it? Here's a good trick. Get you a rubber band. Put it around your wrist. Every time you have a negative thought, pop it. That hurts. That's a real sensitive spot right there. And they have people do this, actually. And sometimes, boy, you'll get real red real quick because you don't realize how negative a person you are. Even if you think you're positive, a lot of times you'll think negative things. Pop that. It gets real hard to be negative after a while. Become aware of the negative thought. Whatever it is, flip it on its head. Think the exact opposite of whatever it is. If you have a negative thought about something that you did last week that you screwed up at work, think about something in the past that you did right, or a compliment that you got. Or think of something else that you did where you got a lot of positive feedback. But nip it in the bud quick. Because boy, you can enter the spiral of negativity real fast. And once you hit that, it gets real hard to dig yourself out again if you start beating yourself up. That little voice telling you, shut it up. With a positive mental attitude, you may be defeated, but you will never defeat yourself. Who should you measure all of your progress against? Other people? Should you? If I'm running a marathon, should I judge it against Haile Gebrselassie, who averages a 4-minute, 47-second mile for a marathon? If I did that, boy, I suck. Really bad. No. All I want to do is be better than I was yesterday. I want to measure against me. I want to make sure I'm a better person. Don't measure your success against other people. Unfortunately, no matter how smart you are, no matter how good a runner you are, no matter how good at whatever you are, there's always going to be somebody that's a little bit better. If not all the time, maybe that day. Even the best people at sports or whatever, they get beat sometimes. Measure it against yourself. That's the only person that matters. If you have a positive mental attitude, negative people cannot harm you. They can only harm themselves. Letting that negativity bounce off you, let them keep it. You guys ever heard the story of the crab bucket? I love this story because it has fishing in it. You got time for it? We're 4 minutes over. This guy's walking along the beach. And he comes upon a fisherman, and it's in the ocean, and he's using crabs as bait. He's got this big bucket of crabs. And the lid's off, and they get to talking, and he goes, hey, man, you better get a lid on that bucket. He goes, those crabs will crawl out of there. He goes, no, they won't. He goes, I'm telling you, they're like spiders. They'll crawl right out. He goes, they won't. Watch them. So the guy watches. This little crab makes a break for it. He gets up to the very end. And he's about to go over, and what happens? One of the ones from the bottom grabs him and yanks him back down. That's those negative people trying to drag you down. Don't let them keep you off the beach. That's why they call them crabby. Right? I don't know if that's true. I just made that up. But really, if you're a negative person, can only harm themselves. And real quick, dealing with negative people, if you work with someone and they're not typically negative, if they're typically positive and they're real quiet or something, don't be afraid, especially if you're friends, ask, hey, is there something going on you need to talk about? Because I'm positive. I want to be able to help them, if they're my friend especially, or acquaintance, whatever, anyone really. Ask them if there's something going on, because a lot of times there might be. If there's no real problem, and they're just one of those people, a Debbie Downer. Anyone work with a Debbie Downer? A negative Ned. How about a pot stirrer? Anyone with a pot stirrer? Those are the worst. Flip it over on them. And let me give you an example of what a pot, this is a good one. I've seen this one. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Did you see what Brandy's wearing today?
Yeah, I thought.
Did you see that pink shirt?
Yeah.
Who wears pink in the fall? Nobody wears. Pink is not a fall. Isn't that ridiculous? Oh my gosh.
I thought she was looking so cute when I came
Oh,
in.
thank you.
Perfect. Do you see what she said? That's what you say to that person. I like her shirt. I think it's nice. You know what? I like your shirt too. I think it's awesome. What do you think of mine? Flip them around. Flip them around. Don't ever let them get started with their negativity. Force them to be positive, because one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to become positive, or they're going to leave you alone because you're annoying. You only talk about positive things. They don't like that. That's not what they want. And if they're just one of those people, some people, and you know, a lot of times we get mad at them and we say, but really, a person like that, there's something wrong. And typically, we're not going to be able to help them. If someone's really negative, and that's all they talk about are negative things, they probably need therapy or they need to talk to somebody. And one last thing, and I'll be done. Be grateful. Be grateful. When you woke up this morning and flipped on the switch, did the lights come on? Did they? Do you have clean water to drink in your house? Did you take a hot shower today? Congratulations, you live better than Kings did 300 years ago. Much better. Much better. And you live better than probably 75% of the rest of the world lives right now. But be grateful. You have all that stuff. We get spoiled and we get hung up on. You ever seen those memes of the first world problems? That's us. That's the kind of stuff we get hung up on. Oh my gosh, I have 10 emails. You didn't have to jump over landmines on the way into work, did you? No, it's not a real problem. Be grateful. Things, I mean, like I said, we live in one of the greatest, you live in the best time that's ever existed on this planet. The best time ever. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to wrap it up there. I'll just keep on going. I love this talk. No questions? About anything. Meaning of life. What's the square root of 8,762? No? How about that? Well, guys, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you.